Hello, evilslothman here, back from another vid. Hello! Yes, I'm actually going to do a response to a tag. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I was looking at airrunner85's channel the other night, and he put up a tag. He said, "What is your favourite children's film?" Now, I couldn't really do one. I have four. I went and looked through, and I've got four that I've got on DVD. So yeah, this is what you're getting. I'll probably pick one out of the four, but the first one, my favourite children's film ever, is Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I absolutely adore that film. A lot of people will say Empire. I watched Empire a lot because it was one I actually had taped when I was a kid. I didn't have a proper copy of it, and so I watched Empire so much I got sick of it. So I really liked Return of the Jedi, just because it was very different to, and I love the speeder scenes. I actually really like the Ewoks. I actually could sit through and watch Caravan of Courage. I've watched the two Ewoks films, the live action ones, and I had a video of the Ewoks cartoon that was on. I think it came with droids and everything as well. That was both at the same time. But yeah, I really did like Jedi. Me and Cyberlanky always have a funny thing with, like, when they did the redos of most of the films, is that they show the stuff where they've inserted special effects, especially when they show off the... It was when they did the video, they very prominently, when they did the special editions, when they prominently showed this off, and it was they showed the shifts, and it said, well, you can see this image is blended in with this image, and you can see the original image underneath, and what we've done is hardened these up. Except they never did it in Jedi for the Sarlacc pit, when they actually went up it, and you're like, what? Not the Sarlacc pit, the... oh, what's its name? It's gone out of my head. Oh, why? I think it begins with an R, but it's the thing where Luke's flying, he gets thrown down into the pit, and the monster comes up out of the monster comes, and, like, you've got him, and he crushes him with the head, but you can plainly see, and they actually show this off in the special effects. Well, this is what's wrong with this, because you can see this image is superimposed over the top of this one, and they didn't fix it, and it's always bugged me, always bugged me that they never actually went back and fixed that. Right, the next one is Cool Runnings. I'm a big John Candy fan. I absolutely love Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains, Automobiles and Spaceballs, and I'm just a really big John Candy fan. Even his little cameo bit in Home Alone. But I do believe this is his best film. It's just amazing. If you don't know, it's kind of like a very funny tale of a real life story of how the Jamaicans entered a bobsled team into the Winter Olympic Games, and they still do to this day. Well, I think the last one they did, I'm sure they did, with the 2008 Winter Games. No, with 10, wasn't it? It's 2010 because it was in Vancouver. Yeah, so it was 2010 games. I'm sure they still actually have teams run. If it wasn't there, it was definitely 2006. They still had teams running, bobsled teams running, everything. It's a tradition they just like to keep up, and it's just a very funny film. The only issue with it is the video I had was taped off the Disney Channel when I was younger, and this edits bits, but I can understand why. It's just like that bit where he goes, I say, "You, Brenna, what do you see?" "I see Junior." "You see Junior." "You know what I see?" "I see pride! I see power! I see a badass mother who don't take no crap from nobody." Yeah, they cut that bit out. And you just basically say, "You know what I see?" And then it cuts, and it kind of says, "You see all that?" And it's just like, well, what the hell did he see? I don't know. But there we go. That's just random bits. The next one is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I was a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. Well, I still find it very weird to call it Ninja, considering that over here in the UK it was called Hero. And so it's very weird to actually still hear it called Ninja. But by the by, I was a big fan of the cartoon, and I was a big fan of the films. especially the first two. The third one I can watch, but it's hard going. The first one I find I can still watch and still sit there and watch it and still be entertained. I definitely think there's a lot more heart to it than the animated one, the CGI one that they did. Was it 2006, which was actually not too bad either. Still better than 3. 3. Seriously, avoid 3. But really, really like that film. Really is always my favourite bit is the bit of the pizza guy, and he's just going, and he's looking around for the flat, and he's just going, so 122 and an eighth. 122 and an eighth. You're standing on it, dude! It's not that bit. It always cracks me up. But my favourite was always Raph, actually I was between Raph and Donatello. But yeah, it's just amazing films. And the last one is actually my favourite film, and it's Ghostbusters. Either 1 or 2. I just absolutely adore the Ghostbusters films. I was a big fan of the real Ghostbusters. I had loads of the figures and everything. There's like pictures of me with loads of the figures. And I remember my favourite Easter egg ever was the real Ghostbusters Easter egg. It actually had the headquarters, and you opened up the doors, and each window and everything had all the sweeties in it. And it was just like amazing. I've never seen anything that comes close to it. But just the humour in that. It's such a weird film to go back and watch now, because so much of the humour goes over your head when you're a kid. It's so weird. But you go back to it, did I really miss all that? But Bill Murray is at his best here. It's like here in Caddyshack, he is just absolutely on top of his game. And I'm a big Dan Aykroyd fan, and he is just amazing in this film, as is Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver. And it's even the second one. I know a lot of the second one gets a lot of stick, but me and Cyberlanky really, really like that one too. And it's just I don't think it's anywhere near as bad. I just think some of it was a bit off, but it wasn't. Most of the stuff is really, really good too, and it's just it. I think if people go back and watch it again, it's not anywhere near as bad as people used to think it is. But there we go. I used to have a really weird VHS box set. This is going to be a weird tangent of the Ghostbusters. It was Ghostbusters 1 and 2 again, but it was on VHS. And at the beginning of it, to advertise these, the old Batman, and we're not even talking the 60s here, we're talking like the 1940s Batman, 1940s, 50s, the black and white ones. They actually put a whole episode of it on in between the two of the films. It was really weird that it was on there. But yeah, like I said, I can say I've actually seen one of these episodes. It wasn't bad. It was just very bizarre to put on in the middle of that. A whole episode of it. But nah, never mind. Alright, so that's my tag. Like always, I don't really like tagging people. It just feels like you're poking people. But if anybody wants to do this tag, feels like to want to reminisce and go walk down memories lane and everything, go down and pick some films up and show something off, then feel free to do it. This is Evil Slothman.